Hey, 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 happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Monday, March 21st, 2022. This is live stream 766. If it's your first time joining me, kick back, relax. Super casual around here. We spend some time talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news and then take a peek at a tabletop game. Tonight, we're actually going to be taking a first look and paging through Vault of Magic, the Pocket Edition, although you would have to have a pretty large pocket to slip this into. Anyway, this is for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons from Kobold Press, and we will be diving on in to the vault in just a little bit. First, I do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of Lost Mammoth Valley for Pathfinder from Paizo Inc. This is the second chapter in the quest for the Frozen Flame adventure path. And you can find out what I thought about it. So yes, that review is up and out. Also, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And lastly, this is a live stream. So if you are kicking it, there's chat available. So it's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, please chime in and I will do my best to respond. So far tonight, we've got the Madman, who happens to be our chat moderator. Omanal Disavowed 92 and John Vogel are in chat at the moment. Omanal says that they survived multiple tornado warnings. Yikes. Yeah, the weather is really nice in the Chicago area, but yes, not that we're getting any, tornado warnings or anything like that. But usually when we have, I guess, unseasonably warm weather, that tends to happen as well. So 245 Trioxin is with us as well. Very cool. Kogo B has just popped in as well, saying nothing can make you feel so puny as when nature gets angry. And you don't want to see nature get angry. You won't like her when you see her mad. All right. Anyway, if this is your first time kicking it with me, let me point out, we're going to dive into some tabletop gaming news before we take a look at Vault of Magic. So it'll be about 25 minutes or so. So if you're watching live, kick back, relax, enjoy. If you are watching after this stream has ended, at least 30 minutes or more afterwards, then there will actually be timestamps so you can jump right ahead And depending on what device you happen to watch the stream on, you can actually find the timestamps in the timeline of the video. Otherwise, it's in the show notes. All right, that said, let's jump on into the news because there is a new game that's arriving from Board and Dice this summer. And I've got the scoop on Terracotta Army. Whoa, wait a second. What is going on here? That is not correct. It's in the wrong order. Damn, and I had everything set up perfectly today, I thought. That's what happens. All right, let's talk about Renegade Game Studios and their Q3 release from Garfield Games. Here's the latest on Circadian's First Light 2nd Edition. We were light years from our home and galaxies away when we first discovered this ancient celestial body, a planet filled with intriguing, intelligent life forms, not too unlike our own. Some built kingdoms below the surface of the green seas, while others controlled the desert-filled plains and cliffs. Among them, we found scientists, inventors, farmers, traders, and fighters. While our presence has been unsettling for some, we have had very few incidents with the locals. Still, we, Circadians, Earth's famed explorers, must do what we can to ensure peace. We must respect this world and its hosts. The heads of Moontide passed down orders from above. We are to open negotiations with the 3 clans in hopes of gaining their favor, along with our own security while on the planet. We must also collect organic samples for the depository on Moontide. This is new ground for us, but we must be brave and resourceful. The future of the Circadians depends on it. So this new edition features updated art, iconography, and various components if you compare it to the original edition. Players will need to manage their crew, dice, as they visit various parts of the planet for trade, farming, construction, and research. You'll need to negotiate with the locals, explore the planet, and upgrade your resource base. It includes new leader cards, the Allies expansion, as well as 2 gameplay variants. Circadian's First Light 2nd Edition is for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, plays in 60 to 90 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $65 when it arrives in stores this summer. I thought this game looked very interesting originally when it came out. This is from Garfield Games, who do all the like Architects of the West, and Raiders of the North Sea, and things like that. So I thought the first edition looked pretty cool, and it hasn't been that long. I think it was only out for a couple of years, and now we're getting a 2nd edition. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Madman says, looks like a lot going on with all those boards on the table. I don't even really know much about this game outside of what I just told you. So I'm taking a guess. It's a bit of a tableau builder, would be my guess. I'm not positive, but stab in the dark. Moving right along. So I was going to talk about the new game coming from Board and Dice this summer. For some strange reason, I've got the news pieces in the wrong order today. Anyway, here's the scoop on Terracotta Army. Emperor Ji Shi Hyung has passed away. To protect him in the afterlife, a great army in the form of statues of faithful warriors must be assembled to stand guard in the emperor's tomb. You'll be among those tasked with building this magnificent army. In Terracotta Army, you represent talented craftsmen and artists, laboring to build the wondrous assembly of statues. During the game, you collect resources, upgrade your workers, and seek favor with the Emperor's advisors. Your goal is to play a crucial role in the process of creating the Terracotta Army, and your success is measured in victory points. During the game, you and your fellow players build the army together. But after the 5th round of the game is over, only one of you, obviously enough, the one with the most victory points, will stand as the winner. During the game, you place warrior miniatures within the mausoleum, forming groups. A group's miniatures may belong to multiple players, as denoted by the player bases on those miniatures. Multiple separate groups consisting of the same type of miniature may exist within the mausoleum. You'll have many opportunities to score points based on dominion and presence. To achieve dominion, you must be the only player with the most of the specific resource or type of statue currently being scored. If you are the only player, then you have dominion or domination. To have presence, you must have at least one of these specific resource or type of statue currently being scored. At the end of the 5th round, the player with the most victory points is the winner. Terracotta Army is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays around 60 to 120 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $70 because it's got loads of miniatures of the soldiers in the Terracotta Army. So I have to point out, I thought it was kind of interesting to see Board and Dice releasing a game that is not Mesoamerica based, like a vast number of their games. Could be kind of interesting. I would take a guess. This is probably a relatively lighter weight game than what you're used to seeing from Board and Dice. Now, that doesn't mean that this is a lightweight game. I'm just saying it's probably a little lighter than what we're used to seeing from Board and Dice. All right, let's talk about some role-playing game news, because arriving in stores next week from Goodman Games is the Judges Guild Deluxe Collector's Edition Volume 2. Say that 5 times fast. Here's what I know. Volume 2 of the Judges Guild Deluxe Collector's Edition. This second volume is slated for a late March release. No, that was late. It was late. And we'll focus on the Judges Guild works of Janelle Jacques. Yes. Jacques was a key contributor to Judges Guild in its early years. She founded The Dungeoneer, the early D&D focused magazine that was later absorbed into the Judges Guild portfolio. Once with Judges Guild, Jacques authored and illustrated many famous adventures, including Dark Tower, Good Stuff, Caverns of Thracia, more good stuff, and the Book of Treasure Maps, which I am not familiar with. Volume 2 of the Judges Guild Deluxe Collector's Edition will include high-resolution, restored scans of the original publications of Dark Tower, Caverns of Thracia, and Book of Treasure Maps, along with the issues of the Judges Guild Journal that shipped with their release. It will also contain the first 6 issues of The Dungeoneer. As with the previous volume, it will also contain collectible memorabilia from the personal collections of Jacques and Bob Bledsaw Jr. of the Judges Guild. These include personal recollections, photos of their time with and before the Guild, insights and observations from modern designers, a selection of artwork, original drafts, and notes from early play sessions, and more. Like Volume 1 in the series, Volume 2 will be oversized in order to best present the original Judges Guild journals at their original size. This oversized hardcover, which I do not have a page count on, unfortunately, is going to carry an MSRP of $150. Of course, this is a collector's item. This isn't aimed at, just everybody out there to pick up. But gotta say, a couple of classic old D&D adventures with Dark Tower and the Caverns of Thracia, which actually led to the term Jacqueing a dungeon. And if you are not familiar with what that is, you should take a look. I think you can Google it and actually see I think it'll actually bring back a result telling you what jackaying a dungeon is. So very cool. Very cool. I I said this before when we talk a little bit about Judges Guild every once in a while. I was not someone who would purchase the Judges Guild stuff. For one, they were just like paper, so they never looked like they were going to really hold up, and the presentations weren't mind-boggling by any stretch of the imagination. They were a lot of the releases were kind of like just typed up presentations and that. But I also got to point out that a lot of their early adventures, not only for D&D, they did some Traveler stuff, some RuneQuest stuff as well, and other games. Uh, some of those really early Judges Guild releases are really, really highly regarded. Perkins Dearborn has joined us. Very good to see you. Saying that Janelle Jacques has done a few interviews. Yes, she has in her time. She is probably best known nowadays for computer games. So, yes, and Perkins is pointing out Janelle was someone else back then. Yes, we do know that as well. All right, let's move right along because there is a fresh bundle of holding that's arrived. It features the hard science fiction role-playing game action of Blue Planet from Biohazard Games. I've got the deets on the deal. Adventura. We've resurrected our May 2016 Blue Planet Classic Bundle featuring Blue Planet, the Biohazard Games tabletop science fiction role-playing game about exploration and conflict on the ocean world of Poseidon. With its convincing depictions of an alien planet's geography, climate, and ecosystem, Blue Planet sets the standard for hard science fiction role-playing. Ahead of the new Blue Planet Reconnect, or I should say Recontact Edition. Reconnect Edition. Duh. Blue Planet Recontact Edition, which is due later this year. I think it's due in October because it had a Kickstarter last spring. This revival once again brings you both the first and second editions of the Blue Planet rules and all their major supplements. Everything you need for open-ended adventuring on the sandbox water world. For just $14.95, you get all 5 titles in this revived offers player collection, which has a retail value of $52.50, as DRM-free ebooks, including the complete 353-page first edition rulebook, the Blue Planet second edition player's guide, the Fluid Mechanics equipment guide, the Undercurrents newsletters, and Ancient Echoes, the character source book. You can play a beluga whale with a rocket launcher. No joke. And if you pay more than the threshold price of $25.55, which I'm sure that's changed, you'll level up and also get this revival's entire moderator collection with 6 more titles worth an additional $67.50, including the Blue Planet second edition moderator's guide, the first colony location source book, Frontier Justice, Natural Selection, Archipelago, and the Access Denied Moderator Screen and Game Mastering booklet. These savings run through March 30th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees goes to this revival's designated charity, Ocean Conservancy. Yes, I have never actually taken a peek at Blue Planet. I have heard about it. I have heard people crow about it, especially if you're into like hard science fiction as opposed to like space opera and space fantasy, science fantasy, things like that. I have heard pretty cool things about it. In fact, wasn't the second edition through Fantasy Flight Games? For some reason I think that's who had released it. I'm not positive. Perkins is saying that, pointing out they've never heard of Blue Planet. Is it a future Earth science fiction RPG? No, actually, it's a role-playing game. Like I said, I'm not overly familiar with it, but it is a role-playing game where it is on an alien planet. But I believe that the player characters, unless you're playing a beluga whale, the player characters, I believe, are normally Earthlings who are on the planet, kind of colonizing it. So I believe that's how it works. I might be completely wrong. So no linguister, no linquisitor. There we go. Well, that just rolls off the tongue, huh? Has joined us in chat, saying that yes, it was Fantasy Flight Games indeed. Yes, back when Fantasy Flight Games believed in role-playing games. Yeah, God knows what's going. Well, they still come out with Legend of the Five Rings from time to time. But I have not encountered, then again, maybe, I don't necessarily keep my finger on the pulse of FFG anyway. But I don't think they've come out with Star Wars stuff recently. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. So Perkins had pointed out they used to buy a lot of Judges Guild stuff back in the day because it was cheaper than TSR stuff. I remember that. In fact, I want to say, I think Dark Tower, because I didn't have, somebody else had it, and I remember looking through it way back. I was, sophomore in high school, something like that. And maybe freshman in high school. And I remember taking a peek, and that was the first time I really got a close look at Judges Guild stuff. Because, of course, they came in plastic bags. So the only way to get in, this is, as far as I remember, I might be completely wrong. But I seem to recall they came in plastic bags, and the only way to, I get maybe not plastic bags, plastic shrink wrap. And the only way you could see it is if you tore that open. And of course, in the game shops, they were always in the shrink. But I knew somebody who had Dark Tower, and if I remember right, I think the price was right on the front of it, and I think it was $5.50. So, yes, not too bad. Although, I mean, even back then, $5.50. I mean, that was like a chunk of change for a kid. It was usually, your allowance for like most working class kids. All right. Anyway, so Perkins says they still use their copy of Treasury of Archaic Names from Judges Guild. Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. So there's some discussion of the Madman's talking about a role-playing game where their characters came from a water world that was 50% water. Had some characters in the game. Okay. Well, that wouldn't be a water world. See, it's got less water than Earth. All righty then. On to our last news piece, now available in PDF from Cubicle 7 Entertainment, is Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Up in Arms. Here's the skinny. The old world is a dangerous place. With the Empire fractured within and threatened by enemies without, it is only wise to learn the skills of a soldier or to employ those who already have. Some may say that to live by the sword is to die by the sword, and there is truth to this. But in the wilds of the Empire, to refuse to live by the sword is to die by the sword even sooner. Up in Arms provides options and guidance for Warhammer Fantasy roleplay characters who follow warrior careers. It focuses on abilities that players and GMs can make use of to add variety and expertise to the fighting folk of the old world. This 144-page book contains a discussion of the cult of Myrmedia, giving the most comprehensive guide yet published to the beliefs and practices of those who worship the goddess of strategy. Soldiers of all stripes, detailing the experience of the rank and file members of the Empire's glorious state troops and providing new careers such as the handgunner, halberdier, and greatsword. There's a history of the role of mercenaries in the wars of the old world, including background and rules to support playing Tillian characters and other dogs of war. There's also a guide to the renowned knightly orders of the Empire with options for joining secular orders, Templar chapters, or going alone as a freelance knight. There's an expanded list of weapons and armor, from basic arms such as swords and axes to exotic specialized equipment such as weighted nets and pavises. Get Gary Gygax in there. Get all those pole arms. Grab all those Gygax pole arms. Write them up. I'm sure they do. Rules for taking cover within vehicles and buildings, and counterpart rules for blowing vehicles and buildings up with devastating artillery. There's details on the employment of hiring NPCs, including a system for generating individual quirks and work ethics of your hirelings. There's optional and additional rules covering new endeavors, alternative approaches to critical injury, mounted combat, use of advantage, pursuits, and talents. This 144-page PDF is available right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $19.99. I do not have an exact pricing for a hardcover yet. I will take a stab and say it'll probably be $39.99. That is right about the pricing for this page count from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. I like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. I will point out the books are getting a little pricey. But you know, that's everybody. That is everybody. Wish it was a little bit less. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you're going to like Storyteller's Vault or Wargame Vault or DM's Guild, simply click on one of our banner ads for Drive-Thru RPG. When you get there, click on one of those sidebar links to go to the other website, and it still counts. It'll still count for us. All right. Got something kind of scratchy in my throat tonight. There we go. So, before we dive in and take a look at Vault of Magic, I did want to mention that there is an amazing, no joke, an amazing Humble Bundle going on right now. There's a little less than 4 days left to go. It is to support Ukraine. And if memory serves me correctly, I want to say it's over $2,000 worth of software, games, role-playing game stuff, audio, tons and tons and tons of goodies. Like I said, I think it's over $2,000. It's either like over $1,500 or over $2,500, one of the two. And you can score all of it for a $40 donation. Of course, you can donate more than that, but $40 will get all, I think it's 123 items. And there's games in there, PC games, that sell for more than $40 right now. So it's a smashing deal. And of course, it is benefiting a good cause as well. Right off the top of my head, there's Slay the Spire. I know it's not a $40 game, but It is an awesome game, Slay the Spire. If you have not played it, it is excellent. It's kind of a deck building fantasy game. Very, very cool. Along a similar vein is I want to say it's Great American Circus, which I have not played, but it looks pretty cool. There's uh, PGA 2K21, which right there I think is like a $50 game, especially if you like golf games on PC. They are few and far between these days. But yeah, there's just loads and loads of goodness. So you don't have much time. And I wasn't going to do like a news piece about it because they really don't get into too much detail. Humble Bundle never does. They never do a whole lot of detail. It's like a paragraph. Here's all the stuff. It's like boink. It's like knock yourself out. But there are some RPGs, some tabletop RPGs. There is Pathfinder stuff, Starfinder stuff, and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. But for some strange reason, it's second edition. I don't know why. I thought that was kind of odd. But I would have thought, Cubicle 7 would have just done 4E. But no, it's second. So Coco B says, thanks for the reminder. They're going to grab the Doctor Without Borders bundle over at Drive-Thru. Yes, you still have 4 of those available to you. And it looks like something's going on with the camera here. I tell you, something's up with these stupid capture devices. So I don't know. Like, we normally don't have any problems with this camera, but we're getting some little hiccups in this camera. I'm just kind of curious. I'll take a quick peek here. Well, it's showing 0 drop frames for the show so far, so it's not that. I don't know. Then again, we could have gotten that hiccup because there's something screwy with our overhead camera, which has been what's been happening. So I noticed Will Burton is with us in chat. Good to see you, Will. Yes, the Madman says the video froze a couple of times for about a second. Yeah, I kind of noticed it kind of, like peripherally. But I was like, did I just see that? I'm like, maybe it was my imagination that it did again. I'm like, all right, I saw it that time. Because I actually looked at it and it was frozen for a good second or so. Although there was still audio. So I don't know. I have no idea. Other thing before we jump in, I just wanted to say I had a lot of fun with my niece's 16th birthday. Yes, last Wednesday was her 16th birthday. So it was a sweet 16. Of course, that's why there was no show last Wednesday. But we got a full run of shows this week. So Will says they often watch the shows after the fact, but it's nice to be able to be here live. Yes, every once in a while we get Will popping into chat for us or with us. Also, I am in need of some more role-playing game reviewers. So Omanal, who's in chat with us, happens to be one of them. And Sammy, can't believe I just called Sammy Sarah. I know Sarah's lurking out there. She's one of our reviewers. We lost the reviewer after I think it was only like his second or third review, and they were like, "Oh yeah, And I get it. Life happens, but a lot of times people think reviewing stuff is like so easy that anybody can do it. It's like it's like it ain't. Tain't easy, Dooley. Especially when you're doing written stuff. So I really need like 3 reviewers because I've got so many companies asking for reviews of their releases and that, and I don't want to turn them away because, as I mentioned before, the gaming gang is kind of segueing more over towards role-playing game stuff as opposed to board games. And of course we do tiny bit of video games. But I don't know. I don't want to say, oh yeah, sure. Send the PDFs. And then they just sit there. So Omenal says, yes, takes a lot of reading. It does. It does. I mean, it really does. I'll get somebody asking. Yeah, Sarah D is with us. She's lurking, saying howdy. Good to see you, Sarah. So that means Mr. Eddie T's floating around as well. So Omenal is trying to get through Traveler 2300. That's their next review because they actually have, I believe there were a few books in that mix. So yes, so if you are a role-playing game fan and you can string together a few paragraphs, reach out because I got tons and tons of stuff. All right. Usually I say this to last, but I'll do it before we jump in. Just to give you an idea, this is what showed up from Paizo Inc. So we've got the finale of the Strength of Thousands adventure path, which I think this has been delayed like 3 months. So got that. Got the finale of Quest for the Frozen Flame. 2 more chapters in the Horizons of the Vast Starfinder adventure path. The Waterworld flip map. The Casino flip mat. The Shattered Dungeon flip mat. And I think this is an expansion to the space station. Yes, it is a Corridors expansion for the space station with the flip tiles. All that showed up. That is just Paizo. So, of course, because I send the physical books, I shoot video. I don't always review all of the adventure paths. In fact, Sammy is going to review the final chapter in Strength of Thousands. And I bet she was probably wondering if that was ever coming again. So Ryan Picklesimmer, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, has joined us in chat. I believe this is the first time we've had a visit from Ryan, so welcome aboard. So the Madman says if they didn't already have so much going on, they'd help out with reviews. If they don't have any time, then Madman, why are you telling me this? Why are you teasing me with that? You know, if I wasn't so busy. Just kidding. All right. So without further ado, tonight I am going to take a first look at the pocketed. Shoot. I forgot. We got the intermission. This camera thing threw me off. I'm just waiting. Just wait until we get to the other camera. I got a feeling it's misbehaving. All right. So we're going to take a look at the pocket edition of Vault of Magic right after a short intermission.
It's refreshment time, and our refreshment stand is loaded with good things to eat. There's crispy, crunchy popcorn, and hot, delicious buttered popcorn, lots of candy, and frosty, refreshing cold drinks. Why not treat yourself at the Refreshment Center now?
Yes, it's intermission time. I always chuckle when I see these like 50s and 60s, like, you know, intermission or drive in like little ads. And they show soda, like just a little cup. It's like how portions have changed over the years. That's why you see the huge long straws sticking out of the cup. Not anymore, you wouldn't. All right. So today I'm taking a look at the pocket edition of Vault of Magic from Kobold Press. This 240-page hardcover, I should say softcover pocket edition we're taking a look at, carries an MSRP of $24.99. The hardcover carries an MSRP of $49.99. Or you can grab the PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG. Get ready for this. for $29.99. It's like, zoinks, what? So wait a second, I can get the pocket edition for less than the PDF? Kind of crazy. So Madman's like, wait, I haven't got my popcorn yet. Yes, I didn't give you enough time to get back from the refreshment center. Swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the pocket edition of Vault of Magic. And yes, the camera is crapped out on us again. Thankfully, it's just a quick fix. Yeah, I have got to do something with this. I'll tell you that much. There we go. Yeah, it's I don't know. The Elgato capture device was like $150 when I bought it. That's, like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that. But still, shouldn't be crapping out. But I think the whole thing now is, I think Elgato doesn't really care about those because all the camera companies were like, oh yeah, here's software so you can use your camera as a webcam, which they wouldn't do before. So I have to experiment a little bit to see how to use the Sony as, see, and we're getting that little flashing oddball colors too. I tell you, it's always something. Yeah, what are we going to get? Is this what we're going to get now? It's like, cut it out. Yeah, okay. Hang on. Jeez. Man, this is so irritating that it does this. All right, so I unplugged it and plugged it back in. Because sometimes that'll clear it up. Once again, I have no idea why. It shows that oddball like screenshot of a book. So Perkins is asking, is it overheating? No, it is not. The Sony I've got does not overheat. Because for one, you have to keep in mind, I'm not recording anything. I'm just using the feed from the camera. That's it. So doing this does not overheat a camera. Even if it was a camera that had problems overheating, doing this will not make it overheat. Now it's the capture device is what it is. 90% sure that it is the capture device and not the camera itself. Because if it's the camera itself, I don't know what to tell you. Because if it craps out, that will be the end of the show. It'll be the end of videos for quite some time. All right. So let's take a look at the back here. Manifest the marvelous. The wizard peered through the hole in the wall and into the darkness of the ancient vault beyond. She murmured a few arcane words, searching for any telltale magical auras. Then she gasped. What is it? The warrior demanded. What do you see? Something wondrous. Which kind of reminds me of the whole discovery of King Tut's tomb. I wonder if they're kind of playing off of that, right? All righty. So it's going to tell us what's in this book. We're just going to jump in and take a look. So this is the pocket edition. So as you can see, it is not a standard sized book. This is more of digest size. Here, for an example, here's a standard hardcover, which we're taking a look at this actually tomorrow on tomorrow's show. The camera doesn't blow up or the capture device doesn't get thrown into the trash. So this is a smaller book, and I could tell just from looking at the back, if you are my age or older, might be a little bit of an issue with the pocket size. You might want to go with the hardcover. Yeah, this, I was going to say this, I can read it, but this font is pretty small. It's pretty small print. So what is Vault of Magic? It is a collection of various different magic items for use with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And there are a slew of creators here who are kind of like guest designers. The core authors are Philip Larwood, Jeff Lee, and Christopher Lockey. But there are also a ton of guest designers as well. So I am not going to take a look at each and every page of this book. I just want to give you a good feel for what's inside. Should mention the fine folks over at Kobold Press did provide me with this review copy of the pocket edition of Vault of Magic, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share my thoughts about this with you. And believe it or not, that is important. Some people don't understand the concept of nobody paid me to say anything about this, right? Right, so we had armor and weapons. So looks like we've got, I think there's over 200 items in here. And it looks like we jump right on in. So we've got the Anchor of Striking, black and white daggers. So I was expecting to see like stat blocks and that, but I guess the reality is a lot of these probably don't need stat blocks. Blood Fuel Weapons, Blood Drinker Spear, Blade of the Dervish. Clockwork Mace of Divinity. The Fogstone. Fell Forged Armor. That looks pretty cool. One thing I always point out with the Kobold Press releases is never fails. They just have such a really nice presentation. Very, very slick presentation. So Perkins Dearborn's talking about the slow decline in eyesight. Yeah, not fun to read tiny text. Thankfully, the contacts I wear kind of make up for. They're sort of like reading glasses contacts. It's super bizarre how they work. Sickle of Thorns, Spear of the North. I guess that's for stabbing people in the knee. The back of the knee. Trident of the Vortex. All right, so just for the heck of it, the Zephyr Shield. I'll tell you what this is. So it's armor, shield. It's very rare and requires attunement. This round metal shield is painted bright blue with swirling white lines across it. You gain a +2 bonus to armor class while you wield this shield. This is in addition to the shield's normal armor class bonus. Air Bubble. Whenever you're immersed in a body of water while holding this shield, you can use a reaction to envelop yourself in a 10-foot radius bubble of fresh air. The bubble floats in place, but you can move it up to 30 feet during your turn. This text is small. You are moved with the bubble when it moves. The air within the bubble magically replenishes itself every round and prevents foreign particles such as poison gases and waterborne parasites from entering the area. Other creatures can leave or enter the bubble freely, but it collapses as soon as you exit it. The exterior of the bubble is immune to damage, and creatures making ranged attacks against anyone inside the bubble. That didn't come across right. The exterior of the bubble, you can't be physically awakened for 1 hour. A successful Dispel Magic, DC 13, cast on you awakens you, but cancels any beneficial effects of the elixir. When you awaken at the end of the hour, you benefit from the sleep as if you finished a long rest. There we go. So, oh, hey. So, it's looking like chat disconnected. We are still, it looks like YouTube dropped. So, okay. So the madman's saying it's good now. All right. Yeah, that was a YouTube thing, which we see from time to time because right here we are showing nothing's dropped and we are running at 50 minutes, 51 minutes. So, yes, every once in a while, YouTube misbehaves on the streams. It's not unusual. This is very cool. I like this. And of course, unfortunately, we don't have images for every single item, but that would be a ton of items that we would have images for. So I can understand that. So we have different kinds of honey. We have spirit honey. That's kind of cool. We have rings, rods, staves, and wands. Death's mirror, an uncommon ring. Made from woven lead and silver, this ring fits only on the hand's smallest finger. As the moon is a dull reflection of the sun's glory, so too is the power within this ring, merely an imitation of the healing energies that can bestow true life. The ring has 3 charges and regains all expended charges daily at dawn. While wearing the ring, you can expend 1 charge as a bonus action to gain 5 temporary hit points for an hour. Jason Bradley's with us in chat. Says, Spirit Honey from Ghost Bees. That's right. That's in Tome of Beasts, Volume 3 from Kobold Press are the Ghost Bees that make the Spirit Honey. I'm kidding, of course. It's got glamour rings. So it looks like we've got quite a few rings, rods, staves, and wands. Here we go. Here's the wolf bite ring, which we actually have an image of. It is a rare ring and requires attunement. This heavy iron ring is adorned with the stylized head of a snarling wolf. The ring has 3 charges and regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. When you make a melee weapon attack while wearing this ring, you can use a bonus action to expend one of the ring's charges to deal an extra 2d6 piercing damage to the target. Then the target, must succeed on a DC 15 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. Boom! Perkins says they love these types of item books. They give cool ideas for adventures and twists to adventures. I've said it umpteen times that really when we look at like fantasy role-playing games, the big sellers are spell books, books with magic items, and books that have character options. Those are the books that outsell everything else. They outsell the adventures. They don't outsell the core books, obviously, but those are the releases that you tend to see. Bestiary sell very well as also, but I think the ones that sell the most are magic items, magic spells, and all in all, I think the number one seller for supplements are the player character option books because people just gobble those up. All right, so we got wondrous items. Bed of spikes. Oh, that's enjoyable. Blue willow cloak. One thing I like about this is none of these items have huge, long, rambling descriptions. Jason says, what do you call ghost bees? Booze? The crawling cloak. That's kind of cool. Let's see. Let's take a look at another. The flood charm, a wondrous item, common. Okay, so how's it wondrous if it's common? All right, let's find something more rare. Head of... No, wait a second. Hang on. Headscarf of the Oasis. This dun-colored, well-worn silk wrap is long enough to cover the face and head of a medium or smaller humanoid, barely revealing the eyes. While wearing this headscarf over your mouth and nose, you have advantage on ability checks and saving throws against being blinded and against extended exposure to hot weather and hot environments. Pulling the headscarf on or off of your mouth and nose requires an action. All right. The honey lamp. It's my lucky eye patch. Hey, be careful with that. That's my stabbing cap. I know that's a reference to something from way back. I don't think most people understand what that was. So we got Resolute Bracer, Sandals of Sand Skating. Very cool. And of course, these items are set in the world of Midgard, no doubt, which I have said time and time again, I think is a very, very cool setting book. In fact, you should check out my review if you haven't taken a peek. So we have fabled items, talking about using fabled items in your game. Kind of jumping through some of these. Sacred Mountain Armor. So these fabled items are getting a little bit more detail to them. Not a ton, but a little bit. Because these are no doubt one-of-a-kind items. Matched blades of the Eternal Feudalists. The Oakheart figurine. Right, so then we get into some treasure trove tables here. Some random tables. Looks like that's how we're going to finish up, is with some random tables for the Dungeon Master. All right. And some ads for some Kobold Press releases. And that is the pocket edition of Vault of Magic. Of course, I will have a review for Vault of Magic in the very near future. Swing on over to the other camera. So sorry about the hiccups with the cameras in that tonight. And then on top of that, we had YouTube freeze stuff up. So of course, during that freeze, that won't be in the video. There's going to be a jump, obviously enough, in the video probably. Not always. Every once in a while, if there's a little drop and then it comes right back, there isn't a cut. But I got a feeling today it will be. Anyway, I got to take a look to see what is up with the stupid video capture device thing. So I'll have to take a peek at the software from Sony that you can use as a webcam, and hopefully it works. So I can just plug it right into the software that I use to do the stream. Fingers crossed. All right, that is it for this time out. Don't forget the Vault of Magic 4.5e Pocket Edition is available right now. You can pick it up for $24.99 from Kobold Press. So tomorrow we are going to take a look at Warlock Layers Into the Wild, also from Kobold Press. This is a Kobold Press week. So get ready for some cool Kobold Press role-playing game releases and some reviews later on this week. So once again, Warlock Layers Into the Wild is on tomorrow's show. We'll be taking a first look at that. So stay tuned. All right, that's it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a thumbs up. subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. It also lets you know when I upload other videos, such as tomorrow's review of Hideous Daylight from Sword Lords Publishing. That's right. I got my review. It's in the can. It's already up on YouTube. It will go live tomorrow morning. So check out this review of this old school Essentials adventure. Find out if it's any good. All right. So if you were watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate people taking time out to kick it with the stream. If you took part in chat, even bigger thank you. Get bonus points for that. But of course, I know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch. Doesn't matter how you watch, live, after the fact, on Memorex, doesn't matter. All that matters is I really appreciate each and every one of you watching the videos on the Gaming Gang channel. So thank you very, very much. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will be back tomorrow. And as always, here's hoping each of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. See you tomorrow. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.